Well, welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and I know I had put out my multiplayer tips on this game, but I'm getting feedback from new players that they're kind of having trouble on the online matches. So what I thought I would do is really just make a guide on how I would use each one of these units. Now it's going to take quite some time to go through each unit itself. I mean, some are going to be much simpler than others, but I guess I can just go through. I kind of verbally discussed how to use some of these units, but it sounds like there's still some confusion amongst the newer players. And if you want to play multiplayer, it can be a little bit difficult to just jump in because there is a bunch of a learning curve here, and you're not quite sure, well, how do I make good unit compositions for your battle matches, and what should you be thinking about? So what I'll do is I'll just make some videos, kind of go through the different abilities and things, how I would use them on a unit, and then we'll just do a couple of AI matches here. And if there's different factions, like, oh, this would work really good against this faction, I guess I could show that as well. But I think for the most part it's just going to be like examples of how you can use these units and how you could kit them out in different setups. So first unit we'll go through is the Lieutenant. He's kind of your standard commander unit. At baseline kit it costs about 165. Now this little marker here says I'm not in cohesion. Usually when you're playing multiplayer matches you do need to have armies in cohesion, but since he has he could be used as a support carrier character or a frontline fighter, I'm gonna break cohesion just to kind of show things in one video so I can show you the abilities and then kind of how his different kit would be. So most commonly people are not going to change his equipment because he rapidly starts to get very expensive, and with only having 5 armor and 225 health he is able to be sniped down by higher tier units. So you don't want all of a sudden be putting in another 40 60 points and kitting him out, because that's almost a whole nother unit of incessors here or assault squad. So usually people will have him kit out this way. And the Inferno pistol, while it is a good weapon, most people don't use it because if you're in melee range, you're usually going to just want to use your chainsword instead. So he'll have the bolt pistol, which has 6 attacks, and he has a surprisingly good accuracy compared to most other units with the bolt pistols. Now I'd say that's true amongst all the Space Marines, and they rapidly tend to fall off. So it's got armor piercing 3, so it does do some good damage. It's optimal range of 1, and it's got a range up to 3, 10% accuracy fall off per each tile. Now the thing to know about pistols in this game is not only if you have overwatch will you get an attack, but if somebody's charging you, you then get a reaction fire, so you get a second round of attacks with your ranged weapon. The same thing happens with the Inferno pistol. It's just instead of having 6 shots, each attack will roll for the ability to suppress, which means you'll lose 1 movement, whereas with only 1 attack you can only suppress once, so it's gonna lose a movement there, whereas you can do -1 movement, -1 movement, -1 movement, and all of a sudden you've broken the assault there. And then you have the chainsword. The nice thing about the chainsword, it does have 2 attacks. So if you miss one, you'll still get the second attack. It's only got 1 splash, meaning it'll hit the main unit that you're attacking for with the base damage. So it'll do the 33 to 45. And then if there's multiple units in the group, the one next to it will suffer 19 to 27 damage. Now in terms of counterattacks when you're fighting in melee, you'll only get counterattacked by the unit you primarily attack. So if you're fighting a squad of like 6 units, you jump in there, you attack a unit and you kill the unit you're attacking, the character that's in that group, then nobody counterattacks you. But if you were to jump in there, attack a unit, and it doesn't die, then the one unit that you directly attacked will attack you, not all the other units. They won't swarm you. So we'll kit one out here so you can kind of see what that's all about. The second version, maybe what I'll do is I'll give him the Inferno pistol. And then the second version here is, occasionally you'll see other characters use this loadout. This would be more if you're going to use him as a frontline damage dealer. Usually people will have him kitted out like this, and he'll be just the HQ unit in the back, and then with the possibility of jumping around and getting into the thick of it if he has to help, or you're trying to capture strategic points, something like that. Like I said, almost nobody uses the Inferno pistol, but, well, unless you have some points you have to use up. Whereas if you do want to actually use them in the front line, many people will give them the Thunderhammer. Now again, for 40 points, this is a very expensive weapon, so a vast majority of people won't do that. The one downside to the Thunderhammer is it's only got one attack, but if you look at its melee accuracy, it's 100%. So the chance that you're going to miss this is really not going to happen unless you're suffering debuffs that are affecting your accuracy. But again, the base damage, which is the damage you'll be doing to the primary unit you attack, is 86 to 115, and then the big thing with this one is it has significant splash damage. So it can splash to 3 adjacent units in the squad, and it'll do 34 to 46. So as you can imagine, he jumps in there, gets an attack, which is a charge attack. When you use your jump ability, which gives you some additional damage, you can get behind the units, and then you can do a second attack. So you can effectively take out a lot of low to medium tier squads completely with using the Thunderhammer, or you can obviously do a lot of damage against heavies, vehicles, pretty much anything, since it's got an armor piercing of 8. But again, now you've already put him up to 204. I would say probably 80% of the matches are 2,000 points, so now 10% of your points are kitted into this one hero unit. So he can rapidly get out of control in terms of costs. Now, if you're going to use him as the HQ unit, usually, like I said, you'll not have any points kitted into him. You'll just keep him at the 165. And he's got the Tactical Precision ability, which gives plus 20% melee accuracy if you're going to use it on a melee unit, say the Sanguinary Guard, or what most commonly people will do is they'll actually use the ranged accuracy bonus and give it to somebody, say these Hellblasters here, or even a vehicle, because not only does it get plus 20% ranged accuracy, but it gets plus 1 armor piercing. The second option is you could do, if you're going to keep them in the back, because you will have 2 action points with this guy, as you can see here, HP, action points, movement, his armor, and then he's got 25 evasion to begin with. The other ability, the support ability, has is Graces of the Angel, and all allies within 2 tiles, so both infantry and vehicles, for 2 turns get plus 50% momentum gains. So if you can get this set up with stacking this, and you also have this Sanguinary Priest here with his Embrace the Blood ability, which starts off at 40 momentum. You're effectively going to be giving your units an extra attack when they're jumping in. So I'll show you that. Like I said, I usually don't want to have a lot of different units all at once when I'm talking about this one, since this video is specifically about the Lieutenant, but in order to kind of show his main abilities and how powerful his abilities can be, you really got to use these other guys to synergize, and that's one of the things with the Blood Angels, is they really can synergize with their unit comps and the buffs that they can give each other. So we'll set out here, and we'll see what we can do against just an AI army, so I'll get that set up real quick. Oh, sorry. And the one thing I forgot to say is this last ability here. You're like, oh, you didn't even talk about it. That's because almost nobody uses it. It's a really shitty ability. The only time I've ever seen this used, and it's like been once in 150 online matches, is I had a HQ unit. I think it was like a Hive Tyrant that was about to die, but he was out of range, so he used this ability, and he got the +2 movement, and he was able to jump in there and kill that unit. And then he sacrificed the Lieutenant to kill my 400-point unit. So it made sense for him to do that. But for the most part, nobody's going to use this ability, because you're losing one of your action points, and in response to that, you've now halved. You do 1.5 damage instead of 2 let's say 1.5, one attack would be 1 in this example, 2 attacks would be 2, so you're doing 1.5 damage on your attack. You get +2 movement. You now suffered evasion penalty, so it's going to be easier to kill this guy. And it only lasts 1 turn. So maybe if this lasts like 2 turns, so you would end up having more damage, more movement in exchange for the evasion penalty, it might make a difference. But with it expiring in 1 turn, say compared to the Graces of the Angel, it just doesn't make sense to use it. Now, it does make sense for this one only to have 1 turn, because this is a really powerful ability, and if it stayed on for a couple of turns, it would just almost be too powerful. Whereas this one here, it just doesn't make sense. There's not a good trade-off there. So, alright. So let's just do a basic skirmish here. Alright, here, and one of the things that a lot of players don't know is if you click here, you can decide who's going to be your commander unit. I guess in this example, we'll just make it one of the sanguinary priests. And we will move these guys over here like that. And we'll just jump, so that gives you just +2 movement. So that'll get us right up to the front right away, because we want to cover as much distance as we possibly can here.
Watch over us. Your orders.
And I like to use Tyranids as examples because their units are cheap, and so it can kind of show you what your units can do against lots of different things. A lot of these lessons are applicable to other factions as well. You just need to
On Balfora I was born, and should the Emperor will it, on Balfora I will die.
need to take the lessons to be, well, heavy armor, whatever it is.
There is little left in this universe that I have not witnessed.
Alright, so let's kind of put you up here. I guess let's just set up some overwatches here.
With certainty.
Since we're just kind of playing around to show some abilities. I was kind of hoping he was going to rush me with some heavies so I could see what's happening. So this is the bolt pistol for his overwatch. Kind of a bad example of trying to prove that they've got good accuracy. I thought I had an Inferno pistol. Yeah, I do right there. It's just out of range. Okay. Alright, so he's got some higher tier units, but they're pretty far away. Oh, that's not good. He's messing up my example by doing things like this. Alright, so what you typically want to do here is do that. And that's just ranged accuracy. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So now everybody's got that plus 25 melee damage, and then you would want to do this on our gentleman with the Thunderhammer here, because he will be getting obviously more expected kills given that he has all that splash damage, is the thought process there. And I guess let's just heal those guys, get rid of their debuff. And we'll give that to these guys because we're expecting him to get a kill with these guys, right?
On Balfora I was born, and should the Emperor will it, on Balfora I will
And he's kind of far away. I was hoping to do some sniping here.
I am the sword of Sanguinius.
Yeah, this is not going to be a good example turn here.
Victory for Skyfall.
Alright, well, let's do this to get the momentum gains.
No room for doubt, brothers.
And then I guess we'll do this for
Guides every strike.
the increased damage. And then you are the chain sword. So I guess we'll just show an example of what the chainsword would do against units. So we'll get the melee attack here. So you can see, kills that, he has the splash, and so he splashed through because he was getting kills. So it's not so much that splashing through, each attack has the potential for splashing here. So that's why he was able to take those guys out like that. I guess let's just use your bonus attack there.
Plasma fire support ready.
Oh, I gave it to you, huh? I was going to do it with the Hellblasters to kind of show, because usually you want to give it to Hellblasters so they can do their pretty much one shot some of these more powerful units. So what we'll do is we'll move you up here. And this is their HQ unit. It's a very expensive unit. It has healing abilities. He can spawn a different unit, so you definitely want to kill him. So if I was going to attack him regularly, he would have this 80. So we'll kind of come here, do this, get the damage boost here, and I would almost have killed him with one shot had I given the additional accuracy bonus. But I guess we're going to do it with you instead. And now, because you've got the accuracy bonus here, you're up to 100%. You've got additional armor piercing, because this weapon normally only has 5 armor piercing. Now it's up to 6. So even though we should be suffering damage losses, or accuracy, because of the boost, we're fine, even though we're out of range. So now we're going to do upwards of 200 damage, probably, and we should be able to kill this guy. Oh, that's lame. So we were unable to quite do it. We definitely would have if we had used that ability on the other guy. So I guess what I will do then is I'm trying to decide where I want you to jump to. I guess for this example, well, ideally I'd like you to attack the hive guards in this example. So I guess let's put you here. And we'll put you here. So usually you'd want to use these to snipe the Hive Tyrant, but I'm just trying to give an example here. So we'll use our ability. So now I should be getting a bunch of kills, and I have the 25% chance after killing an enemy model here to get extra AP. So if I attack somebody like this, I should be getting upwards of 5 kills. So that should be 100% gain effectively that I'm going to get an extra AP. And you can see I've got it there. And so now we'll use you to kill here. They've got that extra attack there, and because you've surged, you've now got extra movement, because you get 1 movement. So you can come down here, and then I can surge. I get that extra AP back again, and we get to attack here. Now you can only get that extra AP once per turn, but as you can see here, I've just almost effectively taken out these hive guards, which have some decent armor, decent health. And then this guy can come in here and smoke them with this Thunderhammer. And we'll just finish him off because I don't want him to actually snipe you guys, because he's got some good sniping units here. So, not a great example of the Thunderhammer use, but gives you an example of... here, let's just put you over here to lock that down, get you up here, start bringing you up this way. But how to stack up with this guy's ability with these sanguinary guards here. And then I'll start taking out some of these guys as well. I'll move you there, I guess, to kind of show the difference between the Thunderhammer and the Chainsword. Because it's hard to really appreciate that with how I was doing this. And then these guys got that attack. Because they were getting charged and they still had the pistols. Yeah, those guys are good at sniping. Ah, he's dead. That's alright.
You'll need more than that. They challenge us from afar. Targets moving beyond range.
Alright, so I guess... Oh, here's what we can do. Well, I'm gonna have to kill this guy though, unfortunately. I was gonna say I can show you the Hell Blasters here, but I don't think I actually can.
The blood is strong. Do not falter.
Alright, so he's healed.
Sanguinius, watch over us.
You can't charge, unfortunately. Alright, let's give an example of the splash damage here. So as you can see, he splashes through, so he's effectively killing all those units here with his one attack, and now he should be able to surge. Yeah. So let's run you down here. Run you guys down here. Guess we're gonna just kill these guys. Well, I guess what I could do is I can show it, except it'll be against the Termagon here. Alright, get these guys out of here.
Engaging the enemy.
Alright. So then these guys can pull back here. And we've now got a rear attack, but we have 100% accuracy even though we're at an angle because of that bonus that this guy has got given us with his ability. And that allows us to almost one-shot. Now we probably could have one-shotted him had I had that charge attack too, but unfortunately that is not the case. And then I'm actually going to charge here, because you might be able to get the kill if I do that. Alright, nice. You did. So as you can see, the chainsword itself is a pretty good weapon. So it's not essential that you end up giving him the hammer by any means here, because you will still do excellent damage. And then the other thing on this game is if you stack all these attacks and you kill him. Oh, I accidentally killed him before I got the attack. Then he won't get his reaction attack here. So these guys have now sieged and have an extra attack again. So as you can see, with stacking up the commander's abilities, this is just getting ridiculous in terms of the amount of damage that we're able to do here. Maybe what I'll actually do is something like this, and then you should be able to come in here, attack these guys like that.
Victory for the Bloodblades. Victory for Skyfall.
And I guess we'll just charge in here to try to get him engaged. You can come over here to lock these guys down, so they'll have to attack you, and then he won't get a kill, so you should be able to get a counterattack. I guess we'll just put you up here. And I guess we'll move you up to here, so you'll be ready when everything else is happening.
Sanguinary priesthood serves the will of the chapter.
So you got this reaction attack. They're trying to fall back. Get their fallback attacks. Oh, he's gonna die. Yeah, it happens. Alright, so you are here. Alright, my jump pack should be back to being up. Alright, fine, just attack here. So again, splash damage takes out all those guys, gets 20. Gets another 20. Now, it was 30 before, but he is no longer getting that momentum bonus. So that's the difference there. And then, what I can do here is just move you up this way. Attack into here. Those guys have effectively been killed. We're going to do this. And then you can jump over here. And then hopefully by landing next to these guys, you'll get the increased... Oh, nope, didn't work. I was hoping you were going to get the extra AP, but it was a fail. But as you can see, like, the pistol does good. I took 3 units out there. And then I can, again, stack this. And now these guys have another attack. We can come around the back here because I got 1 extra movement. And you can come over here. And you attack there. And it's like, now those guys are dead. And then we'll just use our Infernal Pistol for the last kill here. And then, if you were going to empower these tactical precision, it'd be 40% melee accuracy, 40% ranged accuracy, 2 armor, and an extra action point. So that's amazing. If you did Angels of Grace, it'll give you 150% momentum gains plus 10 accuracy for 2 turns. And then this one here costs no AP, but it would end up giving you 150% damage, 4 movement, and -5 evasion for 1 turn. So again, I don't know why you'd ever use this. Who's still alive? Ah, these guys are still alive. So as you can see, you can really do some crazy combos here with your lieutenants, depending on how you want to use them. So are you going support, or are you going damage dealing? And, you know, if you're going to do the damage dealing, you know, you definitely want to have more sanguinary guards because they'll help protect them. By getting a lot more damage, you'll be able to get a lot of buffs going. You'll be able to I think it's 2 turns, be able to use that Air's ability to be able to keep getting extra AP, and by stacking up their momentum, they can just keep attacking. And because they have so many different attacks, their attacks do a lot of damage, and they have armor piercing, they can kill almost anything. So that's a good example of how you'd want to use your lieutenants. Obviously, you would not want to have moved your units kind of the way I did here, which is kind of a sloppy example, to show you the power of stacking some of these buffs. Now, the one buff you could still do that I didn't really show is if you're going to put that targeting ability on the vehicle, you'd also want to put on the Tech Marine buff to also increase the damage and accuracy further, because those things will all synergize on themselves. So if you are going to put it on a vehicle, that is what you would want to do, is you'd want to have a Tech Marine with you, and that would significantly increase the damage output of that Predator. 100%, that Predator would have been able to kill, probably one-shot down that enemy unit leader here, had I had also buffed him with the Tech Marine, but I just didn't have enough points for this map, and I was already breaking some cohesion. And the other thing to mention is, you know, I'm showing you all these extra attacks. By breaking cohesion, I'm already suffering momentum penalties, because if you follow cohesion, you get additional momentum. So as you're seeing, I'm building up all this momentum with this build here. I keep stacking. You got to see that I think I had like 4 or 5 extra attacks. It would have been even more had I had units in cohesion. So definitely incredibly powerful. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use the lieutenant unit, and like I said, these kind of characteristics carry across against all the other factions. It's just, are you attacking heavily armed units? Are you trying to get guys? Then you want to use ones that have more AP. Are you attacking weak units, in which case you want to have a lot of splash damage, because if you don't have a lot of splash damage and you're just effectively locking him down so he does a lot of damage, he'll overkill units, models I should say, and then you're wasting things. Whereas if you have the splash with the Thunderhammer, you're just going through and just totally knocking guys out. So when I was playing as, say, the Necrons, which also have the ability to resurrect up to 2 units, every attack he'd hit me, he would splash damage it, they would fall down and they'd start to resurrect and they get splashed again. So it definitely gets to be kind of some crazy stacks here. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys want me to keep doing these kind of example videos. I'll do a couple of them for the Marines, Blood Angels, just to see if this is something you guys are into. If you are, I'll keep doing it if you find that it's helpful. The other option is I'd also like to do some multiplayer matches against some of the subscribers here. So if you guys are starting, if you're very experienced, or if you're new to Battlesector, shoot me a message, create a match, make it private, and just make the password Classy, CLASSY, and I'll join up. We can play a match. I can give you some tips, or if you want to beat my ass in front of a couple hundred people and make me look like a fool, that's good too. You know, it's all good fun. So thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. It encourages me to post more content for you. Have a great day.